a nail on the head. Actually, I have a story. I won't name names, but from one of the events I did this past year, where there was a pretty big YouTube personality who was at this convention, and yet only showed up to do their panels and at their time at the autograph session. Now, if that was like Angelina Jolie or Katy Perry or something, so a celebrity, an actual celebrity, I could understand. You're not going to want to walk around amongst the people. You kind of can't. We're talking about a YouTube celebrity here. We're talking about somebody that, could walk right by even other people, whatever. I mean, that's what we're talking about here. But they couldn't be bothered to show up except for a couple of times. That same event. I had a lot of downtime at that event, which doesn't happen too often. You couldn't get me off that floor unless I was hungry, and I had to go get something to eat. I spent as much time as I could walking around, talking to people, putting faces to names of people I've met online, that sort of thing, pictures, whatever people wanted to do. Because I mean, it's again, no one's, I have yet to have paparazzi chase me down. I have no delusions about where I am here. I'm not going to get into an Oscar party. Neither is the guy that was acting like that, and so yeah, I mean, it's like, why, if you're not going to be part of the actual convention, why do that? Why act like you're, a celebrity or a star? Get over yourself. There's no gaming celebrities yet. It's not there. Maybe someday it'll happen, but until I see, Cliffy B on the cover of People or something, we're not there. So quit trying to act like it, and quit trying to act like this is a thing, because, like, you nailed it as far as these people are your bread and butter, and these people need to feel, they feel connected to you. If they came to see you at that event, they already feel connected to you. They already like your work. Keep it that way.
Now, do you feel like sometimes, like, people who started off maybe in gaming, or I guess what you would call in the geek culture, and then kind of made, maybe not jump, but at least kind of like climb a few steps up into what would be the mainstream, maybe movies, television, but kind of then kind of turn their back? Because there are a couple of cases of that, not naming names, but there's a couple of where gamers at least feel that way. Have you seen that where some gamer said, hey, that person used to be on this or was affiliated with gaming, or maybe they felt they never really were a gamer, but they kind of used that as a stepping stone or a step ladder, and then now they're like, oh, I'm not really was a gamer, that was like something, it was a one-night stand thing.
Well, first of all, anybody, and I get accused of this by some critics, but anybody who uses video gaming as a stepping stone is a fool. There's not enough of a stepping stone there, all right? The lingerie bowl, the puppy bowl, the Nathan's hot dog eating contest, they all get more mainstream attention than a year's worth of video game news. Let's be honest. Let's be real. Let's get down to earth and figure out what this is. So if someone's connected to gaming, there's not a whole lot of money in doing this personality thing or whatever. And it's not like, like G4 was around or whatever. It's not like a lot of those people were, living in multi-million-dollar mansions here or something. Let's be real. Let's get down to earth on this. That's, if they're talking about gaming, it's probably because it's something they like. But again, those are people. I guess I could compare it to, you have some little garage band that plays in dive bars and stuff like that, and they start gaining a following, and it gets bigger and bigger, and then they sign a major record label, and then suddenly people start going, boo, how dare you, whatever, you should be down here, how dare you sell out like that and become this big thing. They kind of forget those people aren't running a charity. They're probably fans of things like food and shelter and things like that. They probably want that sort of stuff, and that they worked hard to get that great. So if somebody has an opportunity to jump up to another plane and do something like that, and they're making more money doing that, maybe they don't talk about games as much as they used to. Doesn't mean they don't like them. It might just mean that they're busy doing what they do for a living. And that's fine. That's great. It doesn't mean that it has to be some ulterior motive or some little thing. Be happy for them. I see this a lot. I was very disappointed recently. I'll flat out say it right here. Maybe they'll hear it, maybe they won't. But there's a whole community around Donkey Kong. They still think it's 2007 and the King of Kong is still in its 6-month window of popularity. That's all they talk about all day, and then they celebrate each other, which is wonderful that they celebrate each other. But Steve Wiebe, right, the guy that they owe all that buzz to, right, the most popular of the bunch, he is going to be in Pixels, that Adam Sandler movie. There's pictures of him on set and with the stars. None of them care. They don't talk about it. They don't share it. They don't celebrate it. They don't care. That's a big deal. That should be one of the biggest things they had to talk about. Celebrate that. That's a good deal, because you know what? That might be them next time down the road. They might have an opportunity to do something bigger somewhere. Celebrate it. I don't see enough of that. So, you know, I think it's great that if someone who used to be a G4 star has gone off and become a successful television star, or successful with a show that has nothing to do with gaming or anything like that, more power to them. That's fantastic. It doesn't have to be about video gaming 100% of the time. I got crapped on by some people for showing up on Frankenfood on Spike. It's not gaming. Who cares? 700,000 people watched me on that show. I don't care if it was gaming or not. It was an opportunity to get out in some new eyes and, I don't know, have a little thing called fun. It didn't mean I turned my back on anything or abandoned anything. It was one thing I did. Big deal. Get over it. You know, it can't be video gaming all the time. It doesn't mean someone turned their back on it. It doesn't mean that someone forgot what it was. And it just seems like there's this thing in general where people, at least attached to gaming, they hate success. I don't know why it is when someone has any. I don't think you see that anywhere else. I don't think anyone accuses Michael Strahan of abandoning football.
I was just about to say that. Like, are you gonna get mad at him for showing up on, you know, Kelly and Ripa, you know, on the morning show?
Yeah, he's pulling down some good ratings up there right now. I don't think any NFL players are sitting around going, "Well, he's not football anymore." They're happy for him. Even if they're the guys he used to knock into the dirt, they're happy for him. He's managed to parlay that into something else. That's great. That doesn't mean he stopped loving football. It doesn't mean he used football as a platform or anything like that. They're happy for him. Maybe video gaming needs to start acting like that more often.
And if anything, then, you know, if nothing else, even if they're not walking around saying, I used to play video games, I was this and that, you can say, hey, you know, that person used to be on G4, that person used to do this person used to do that, and now they're here too. That guy came from our community, and you can be happy with that.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I mean, if anything, I look at what I'm doing. Am I still video game focused? Yeah, but I recently kind of tweaked the brand a little bit for a couple of reasons, but one of them is it opens up the envelope. Who knows what opportunities could come of that? I'm still video game centric. I'm still video game focused. I've had at least one running website at all times based on video games since 1998, and I don't see that changing in the future. But if it does, it doesn't mean I suddenly stopped liking video games. In fact, if anything, it means I probably am making a better living doing that than I was doing this. But it doesn't mean I'm not going to do that. You know, again, just we want these sorts of things. We want these people out there. We want people attached to video gaming to expand their horizons and become multimedia people. That's a good thing. You know, and everything else has it. Professional wrestling has it. I mean, Chris Jericho, he's not just a wrestler. He's a musician. He's a television host. He's a radio jock. Good for him. Good for him, because he can't do the stuff in the ring forever, man. And hell, The Rock makes more money off one movie than he would have made wrestling the entire time. Doesn't mean that he abandoned it or that he forgot about it, that he never loved it. He just likes, I don't know, making a better living. Doesn't everybody?
Definitely.
Just because you love video games doesn't mean this isn't some religious thing. You don't have to commit to living your life in squalor. If you have an opportunity, take it. And Godspeed anyone that does, man.